Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach, and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So, okay. I didn't watch because I don't really watch the episodes of the Pop the Balloon shows, right? But apparently the lady that they're talking about, the Darcy Adanna Esemonu lady, was on one of those shows. And I actually did find the shows like several months ago. She was on the show. And so she has now been brought up on charges. She's been indicted for fraud. Basically, they're charging her for schemes and things like that. I'm going to read it and then I'm going to play it. It says, one of the women who accused former Major League Baseball pitcher Trevor Bauer of SA has been charged with felony fraud. A Maricopa County grand jury indicted her on Monday and charged her with fraudulent schemes and artifices, a Class 2 felony, as well as theft by extortion, a Class 4 felony. The first crime is described as knowingly obtaining a benefit from the victim by means of fraudulent pretenses, representations, promises, or material omissions. The second offense is described as knowingly obtaining or seeking to obtain property or services from the victim by means of threat to, in the future, expose a secret, etc. The maximum prison sentence for these two crimes is 16 years. The crimes were allegedly perpetrated against Trevor Bauer and another man named Marco Bresciani. Trevor Bauer responded to the indictment of Darcy Esemonu with a video on his social media channel on Monday. In it, Bauer explains that he did have a sexual encounter with her and claimed that she kept pursuing him to have more, and even at one point requested her to give her a sample of his sperm so she could have the child in the future. He also claims that she made at least 4 seven-figure demands over the last few years, more than a year after the one time we slept together and only after Lindsay Hill made up her false allegations. Adanna retained a lawyer. She then demanded $3.6 million and claimed I forced her to have a deletion, leaving her emotionally devastated and irretrievably damaged by it. But here's the thing, she never had a deletion because she was never pregnant. And that's corroborated by her own medical records. When I refused to pay her the $3.6 million she asked for, she made up a bogus SA claim and filed a civil suit against me. In that version of the story, she claimed for the first time, by the way, that there was non-consensual sex. So, I'm going to go ahead and play it. I did go and find his video, but I will reserve my commentary after you watch this.
Now at 1 o'clock, from accuser to defendant.
A woman who claimed that former Major League pitcher Trevor Bauer sexually assaulted her is now facing criminal charges. KTLA5 Samantha Cortese joining us here in the studio with the story.
Glenn and Lou, the Cy Young Award winner, appears to be exiled from Major League Baseball following multiple sexual assault allegations. But in a video online, Trevor Bauer is asking what more can he do to prove he's innocent now that one of his accusers is facing serious jail time for extortion and fraud. A woman who accused former Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer of sexual assault has been charged with fraud in Arizona. A grand jury indictment unsealed Monday accuses Darcy Adanna Esemonu of fraud and theft by extortion against Bauer and another man. Esemonu sued Bauer, saying he raped her and got her pregnant in 2020. Bauer says she demanded money to terminate the pregnancy, but later said she had a miscarriage. Bauer posted a 5-minute video on YouTube responding to the indictment and addressing allegations at large for the first time in months.
Here's the thing, she never had an abortion because she was never even pregnant, and that's corroborated by her own medical records. When I refused to pay her the $3.6 million she was asking for, she made up a bogus sexual assault claim and filed a civil suit against me.
In the countersuit, Bauer's lawyers claim she took the money for the abortion and went to Philadelphia to get LASIK eye surgery. as Monu is not the same woman who accused Bauer of assault in 2021, leading to his 194-game suspension and apparent exile from the MLB just months after signing one of the largest contracts in baseball history with the Dodgers. That accuser, Lindsey Hill, and Bauer settled last year without any payments between the two. Bauer was never arrested or charged.
At this point, I'm not sure what else I can possibly do to prove my innocence in all this. I did not do what I was accused of. And every institution that our society is entrusted to rule on issues like these, like courts, judges, law enforcement officers, prosecutors, they all agree with me. They've rejected every single claim made against me, even going as far as charging one of my accusers with a felony. At what point do I get to go back to work and continue earning a living?
We tried reaching out to Monu and her legal team, but were unsuccessful. Her next court date is next week, and she could face more than 16 years if convicted on both charges.
Now at 1 o'clock from a
Now, I do remember a few years ago, and I do believe that I made a video about him. And the clip that they show in this, where's the little white girl smiling in the camera, she kicked it all off. She previously accused him of raping her and beating her and all this kind of stuff. Now, even at that point, it was pretty obvious that she was lying because they caught her lying. They caught her. They basically found the text messages where she was communicating with somebody else, how she was going to get him and how she was going to get him caught up and basically accuse him of raping her and beating her and all this kind of stuff, and then be able to basically extort money from him. Only because he was able to produce the text messages that were found on her phone that basically proved that everything that she did was a plan that she had from the beginning to do those things. That's the only way that he got out of it, right? Because she proved to be lying about everything. Now, because I don't keep up with baseball, I didn't realize that he was basically exiled by the MLB. They don't want him to play, and they don't want to be associated with him because of these charges. However, I think that's really, really unfair, especially if he can prove that the charges are false. So now we have, a few years later, this lady comes along and she attempts pretty much the same thing. How you begging how you have sex with this guy one time, and then you beg to have sex with him again, then you beg him for the baby batter, then you lied and said you was pregnant to get deletion money, wasn't never pregnant, didn't get a deletion, went and get, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just trying to really run a scam, but you're not running it very successfully. And then you're leaving a trail behind of foolishness where people can come right behind you and be like, no, this is a scam because look what she's doing here. Look what she said there. Look what she did there. So they are now lining up to continue to try to get a bag off of this man. According to him, you made several, $1 million requests, right? You want the 3.6 million, and you want this million, that million. And all in all, this man, through all of this, by these females, by these hyenas, through all of this man has not been able to continue to pursue his career in Major League Baseball. Okay, apparently he's super talented because, as they said in this clip, that he ended up signing like one of the biggest contracts. So apparently he, is dope on the baseball field. Okay. And so how you got this man years now tied up in all this legal foolishness to where he can't even work because the Major League Baseball Association or whatever, they don't want to have nothing to do with him. Whatever team, I guess he played for the Dodgers or whatever, they don't want to be associated with somebody that even so much as has the allegations that have been leveled against him. And this is how dangerous those false SA allegations are to men, because just the allegation, just having your name associated with something like that, whether you're innocent or not, is enough in many cases, not just his case where, you know what I'm saying, he's a famous athlete, but your regular average guy will lose his job, never to be able to work in a certain industry, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, because his name gets tarnished, his reputation gets tarnished. And even though he may prove to be innocent, he didn't even do anything. You know what I'm saying? So it's not even like where there's smoke, there's fire. He's not even really doing nothing. It comes out, the truth comes out that he didn't do it. Society still gonna hold it against him, though. Everybody's still gonna look at him with a side eye like, you probably did do something, especially if it's more than one accusation or allegation. And usually, if you have multiple allegations, then it probably is a little smoke where there's fire in most cases. But in this case, I don't believe that, mainly because he's been able to basically prove definitively that these are scams, that he's being targeted to be extorted in this way. You know what I'm saying? But if he didn't have any type of like concrete proof that these women was flat out lying on everything that they did, people would give him a side eye. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you did something. Maybe you didn't do everything that they said you did because they can't prove it either. You know what I'm saying? So it's not even ambiguous. It's not even a gray area. He's just flat out coming out to say, no, it's actually just not true. And I can prove that it's just not true. But this is how damaging it is. I'm glad that she's facing prison time for these types of false allegations, for trying to extort men specifically, by using, you know what I'm saying, false grape, you know what I'm saying, and he did this and he did that to me. More and more women, in my opinion, should be held accountable to this degree, where she has to go to court and she has to get a lawyer, and a judge somewhere got to decide her fate because she's been proven to basically be a con artist. You're going around these men that have money and you are trying to set them up in such a way to where you can claim that they have done something to you. It's completely false, ruins those men, and then you get to skip away with a bag. And I hope that more and more women have to face this type of consequence for the lies. And yes, jail time. Absolutely jail time. Absolutely throw them in the jail. And throw away the key. Don't even talk about it no more. And let them serve their full sentence. Whatever kind of sentence the judge come up with, I don't even want no like good behavior. Full sentence. I don't want no probation, nothing, because the man probably wouldn't have got no probation. So, you know what I'm saying? If your allegations had went the way you wanted, this man probably be in jail, have to give you a bag, and he ain't even do nothing, and he probably wouldn't even have to be able to get like probation or anything like that. He probably have to serve his full sentence. So I believe that the hammer should be brought down on women who accuse men falsely of doing anything to them, just to set the precedent where y'all are not going to be able to continue to get away with this type of stuff. Just because a man may be wealthy, just because a man, you don't like what he did, or you trying to be a con artist, or whatever your deal is, whatever it is you're trying to do, that you are not able to just come arbitrarily ruin a man's life off of a lie. Everybody got to believe you. And then all of a sudden, the whole world got to give him a side eye until he prove himself. Because anytime that allegation is brought towards a man, he's guilty until proven innocent. And especially in this case, is a fine example. Even when he proved himself innocent, it's like, well, we still don't want to be bothered with you. This is a man who has a multi-million-dollar skill set. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was able to go to the major leagues and make his money. Now he can't do that. This is probably something he's been wanting to do since he was a kid or something. That's usually how it be. And now for the last few years, he has not even been able to really do what it is that he want to do because he constantly fighting off these hyenas. You know what I'm saying? And this is why, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to go. This is why, like when people say, oh, men are automatically protected if they don't marry women. Unfortunately, the way this society is set up, you do not have to marry no woman or really even be involved with her like that at all to get caught up by her. And that's the unfortunate truth. And this is why I never say marriage is just the enemy. Marriage is just bad. And anytime a man don't get married, he's at much less risk. That's not necessarily true because this man don't even have kids with these women to get taken to child support or none of that. They are just putting false allegations on him in hopes that they can extort him out of some money. And because of that, he is not even able to work. It'd be different if it didn't affect his ability to work. It'd be different if it really didn't affect his reputation. But those are things that, especially your reputation, is difficult to build that back up, especially once it get tarnished, depending on what it got tarnished with. Two things tarnish a man's reputation, whether he's guilty or not: being a PDF file and essay against women. Once them allegations is leveled against him, he has an uphill battle from there to try to, you know what I'm saying, make people believe that his credibility was never shaken because he's innocent. So I'm glad, once again, that she's being brought up on charges. And I think that all of these women that lie should be brought up on charges. First of all, to protect the men in the society from that, because once women realize that they just can't willy-nilly get away with that, they'll stop doing it. And number two, it'll give more of a platform for women who actually go through it because they know they're not lying. So therefore, if they have to say that, or if they have to bring those allegations or whatever, or accusations, they'll be able to back that up and say, no, it really did happen. Because the false allegations makes it to where not only can you not believe all women, you automatically don't believe them. Even when they telling the truth, it's like, nope, give you a side eye too, because so many women be lying till, you know what I'm saying, you really gotta substantiate that. And already things like rape is difficult to prove. You know what I'm saying? Already it's difficult to prove because it's your word against his, whether or not it was consensual. Even if you present yourself for a grape kit and they find his DNA, he could just say, no, well, we willingly did that. That's why my DNA over there. That's why, you know what I'm saying? That's why. Now she has to prove that no, it wasn't consensual at all. And that's where all the foolishness can be. So definitely start holding these women accountable and throwing them in jail when they get the lying and extorting people. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.